placement of all the limbs of these beasts in heraldry is intentional. And I'm going to go into more detail in that in a moment. But what I want to note is Judas Iscariot, as well as the individual of 2 Thessalonians 2. Judas Iscariot was called the son of perdition in Scripture, and he was possessed by Satan, of course, at the Last Supper just before he went to betray Christ. If we look in the prophecies in the Old Testament in respect to the need to replace Judas Iscariot after he fell from his apostleship, we will find in the psalm that is quoted that it states of the same individual that he has lifted his hoof, not foot, but his hoof against the Lord. Notice that this beast is lifting his hoof, this unicorn, against the Lord. Like of the Antichrist, that he is loosed at some point. The restrainer is loosed. And here we have the restrainer loosed in the coat of arms, while the dragon, the red dragon, Satan, is animating this beast by virtue of having touched the rim. The individual is called the son of perdition, just as Judas Iscariot is called the son of perdition because he was possessed by Satan just before he went to betray Christ. In Revelation 13, the Antichrist, or the first beast of that chapter, will receive a mortal wound and miraculously recover from that wound in such a way that the world will begin to worship him literally for the next 3.5 years. He is called the son of perdition. In other words, he, like Judas Iscariot, will be possessed by Satan, I presume, I think, based on the Scriptures, in conjunction with his receipt of that mortal wound and his recovery from it. Notice another thing about the red dragon in the coat of arms. You see this funny three-pronged emblem around the neck of the red dragon. This is called the label of the heir apparent in heraldry, and it is a unique design specifically for the heir apparent. Again, here's Prince Charles' official coat of arms. Notice that that label is present around the beast that has the feet like a bear, body like a leopard, mouth like a lion. And by the way, that is what this actually represents in heraldry. Notice also that it's around the same beast up at the top of the coat of arms. These two represent the same beast. Likewise, it is around the neck of the unicorn, the little heart of the eyes of man. It's around, it's actually in the center, above the center of the coat of arms, and post over the royal shield, and it is below this head. This is the overall head of the coat of arms. It's a corporate head, and this coat of arms in heraldry makes up a corporate beast all by itself. Now, therefore, this overall coat of arms again speaks to the heir apparent, and then finally it is around the neck of the red dragon. What is that saying? In heraldry, it means that each one of these beasts represents Prince Charles himself, the owner of this coat of arms. What's interesting about that is that this red dragon is wearing it. That literally means that this red dragon one day is going to become the heir apparent to the British throne. In other words, it is going to possess these other beasts. It is going to possess Satan. A coat of arms is in fact an occult form of artwork that is prophetic of the individual's future as well as his dominion, and it can be read from top to bottom and left to right, just like a book. For example, the motto, which is the Prince of Wales motto at the bottom of this coat of arms, and is the same as the motto on this badge. This is called the Badge of the Black Prince, who was the founder, one of two founders, the Prince of Wales of the day, of something called the Order of the Garter. We see that garter here in the center of the coat of arms around the royal shield, which I'll discuss further in a moment. But the motto itself is Ic Dien. That was the motto of the Black Prince. It has now become the motto of Prince Charles. And this, by the way, is the symbol, this badge of the Black Prince, that Prince Charles wears on a gold ring on his finger, given to him as an engagement ring, present by Princess Diana prior to their marriage. The motto Ic Dien means I serve, according to Prince Charles. And the reading here is I, the Black Prince, serve the red dragon. That red dragon is the same red dragon of Revelation 12 and 13 historically. It actually is much more ancient than its use in the nation of Wales. Wales adopted it as its national heraldic symbol in 1958, but it goes back to the standards of the Roman cohorts that occupied ancient Britannia, and from there to the cohorts that occupied ancient Judea. It's the same red dragon that the Apostle John no doubt would have seen in his day when Judea was under occupation by the Romans, and which he wrote about in Revelation 12 and identified as Satan and as the serpent who deceived Eve in the Garden of Eden. So let's come back now to this prophecy, and then I will show you the name calculation. It states, "Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard, his feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority." As we have seen, Prince Charles literally received his power, throne, and great authority from the red dragon. Additionally, his coat of arms bears this imagery. Those two things have been true of no other human being in the history of the world, and it's true of no one today. This beast on Prince Charles' coat of arms exists only on Prince Charles' coat of arms. It exists nowhere else in the world today, nowhere else in history, only in the pages of Revelation 13 and on Prince Charles' coat of arms. That suggests very strongly to us that for the first time in history we can perform the name calculation in its required context. Again, it is said that it is the number of the beast, or it is the number of a man. The beast is present in the case of Prince Charles. When we perform the calculation, this is what we get. This system is today called the Kabbalic numbering system. The reason is that it has been adopted into Kabbalism, which would be the occult version, the Jewish equivalent to Gnosticism. And however, it is a much more ancient system than that. It is the ancient biblical numbering system. Ancient Hebrew did not have its own numbering system. Instead, it used the characters of the Hebrew language to represent numbers. Aleph is 1, Bet is 2, Gimel is 3, Dalet is 4, etc. This system was used by Israel's ancient rabbis to calculate the values of words and names before Christ came. It was used by the Ante-Nicene Church to calculate the value of words and names in Greek. Notice the Greek alphabet here. It was subsequently incorporated into the Greek language, and although the original system ended at 400 because there were only 22 characters in the Hebrew language, it was ultimately extended to include 500, 600, 700, 800, and 900 in the Greek only. It was applied historically in a sequential fashion to the Greek language, not in a phonetic fashion. Additionally, the number 666 itself was specified in the underlying Greek text in the received text, the same one on which the Authorized King James Version is based, not using Greek words, but rather using 3 Greek letters. One letter for the number 600, a second letter for the number 60, and a third letter for the number 6. Because it's specified in that fashion, the original Greek text tells us what numbering system we are supposed to use on which to try to perform the name calculation. As it turns out, the title Prince Charles of Wales, in both English or Charles Prince of Wales, it does not matter how we order it, and in Hebrew, Nasik Charles of Wales, which is the Hebrew equivalent of the same title, Prince Charles of Wales, and is the way that the name is spelled officially in the modern Israeli press. Both calculate to exactly 666. 666 for the English, 666 for the Hebrew. Statistically, on this system, the odds of that occurring are far less than 1 in 10 to the 50th. Ross, for example, who is a physicist who is somewhat noted in the Christian community, has stated that in physics, an event that is 1 in 10 to the 50th or rarer in probability virtually cannot happen in nature. It's considered to be so rare. The odds on this system in 2 languages of one title or name, calculating the 666, are far less than 1 in 10 to the 50th. In other words, it cannot happen by chance. In fact, it's virtually an impossibility, yet it is a fact.